Well, hello and welcome back to another evening of racing here at Syndicate Motorsport. This time with our Saturday League, and it's the DTM League, of course, using the 90s classic cars. Round 7 today at Zandvoort, which brings us to the Netherlands. And we should be in for a pretty exciting race tonight. It's a pretty fast-flowing track, pretty well suited to these cars, of course, raced here in reality. And we've got a few new drivers joining us today for the first time, including the very special Jack Noller, who's one to watch, as you can see already, with a 149.066, and that's in the Mercedes. When Jack said, could he join the league pretty late on, I said that's fine, but you've got to bring some love to the Mercedes. So it'll be good to see Jack out there in the 190E, showing everyone what this car can actually do. I don't seem to be getting audio from the game. Just going to put that out 1 second. There we go, that should be a little bit better. Replicating that across all of the other views. Perfect. Okay, I think that's sorted. So back to business. Let's talk about the current standings on the championship thus far. As I mentioned, it's round 7. There's been quite a bit of action going on today. Let's bring up the standings, and you can see Andrew still leading the pack with a 245-point lead, which is a substantial lead over our second contender, which is Quentin. Marju making some pretty good gains recently, despite getting a bit of a late start in the championship. But third place for Marju. Michael hasn't been around for a few rounds, still holds on to 4th place for the time being. That might be heading the way of Ashavi today, as Ash is in attendance and Michael is unable to attend due to being on holiday. And then we have the likes of Sketty, Forest, Alien and Akshik, who are further down. Ballast wise, you can see what's happening there. Andrew's still holding about 81 kilograms of ballast, which, whilst a lot, doesn't seem to really have slowed Andrew down too much. And his main competition today will be Jack Noller, who isn't on the standings yet because it's their first round. But apart from Jack Noller, I'm not sure who else can hold a candle to Andrew's performance in the league thus far. Hey Zaddy, good to see you. So let's go ahead and jump onto track cam with Andrew, who is our #1 driver in the championship. Currently P2 in the qualifying session, which we have 7 minutes remaining of. As per usual, this round is following the standard format for the championship, which is a 20-minute qualifying and then 2 20-minute races back to back. The second race being based on the finishing positions of race #1. But tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next weekend is the final round of the championship, round 8, and that is going to be the very special Nordschleife 1 hour special. So extra intense racing coming your way next weekend as we wrap up the 90s DTM League here. Syndicate Motorsport with a tribute race round the Nordschleife, and with 1 hour of racing, it's going to be a bit of a test for the drivers and the cars. I know you've been somewhat abandoned, Red, in the BMWs. You've got no one else, not even your teammate Akashik is here. But we do have a few more Mercedes. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. Last round we had 0 Mercedes, or 1 Mercedes, and this time we have more Mercedes and hardly any BMWs. So one thing, Red, you can bank on being the fastest BMW driver today. Well, they usually are anyway. Oh yes, stand corrected. Hemi is in the race as well. So 2 BMWs. Here is the mighty Hemi as well, and the number 7 BMW. Alien, which National Trust property did you frequent today? Daddy, of course, having done a great job on the track livery as well, so you can see all the billboards populated with the Syndicate logos and so on. So a shout out to Zaddy and his graphic design. Got some cool camera angles on this track. Someone's done a good job with the cameras. So 1:48.9 is the time to beat, and at the moment no one's coming close to that. Jack Noller has joined relatively late in the championship, so they have been awarded the average level of ballast, which is only 22 kilograms, and that means that they will have a substantial ballast, advantage over the likes of Andrew. But then Jack is just a very quick driver, full stop. So multiple things working in Jack's favour today. Oh, very nice, Alien. Sounds good. Well, not so good about coming back to the rain. Thank you, Zaddy. Much appreciated. So, Hemi's being tailed. Let's go ahead and see if we can double check everything's working with the cameras. Let's do this one. Enable link. Something. It was this thing. It's fired up. There we go. So redeem points now to trigger the cameras, and the cameras are now working. So there's a helicopter camera, nicely timed moment there. You can see these guys going hammer and tong now in qualifying, which is, you know, not necessarily encouraged, but always nice to see. Be interesting in the race to see whether anyone is going to be able to keep up with Jack. Obviously Andrew will get a good start with the four-wheel drive system kicking in, but there's obviously 20 minutes of racing to do, and that's when the Mercedes might be able to carry more speed through these flowing corners. Yeah, thank you, Aileen. I'm using one of those fancy little plugins that's come up with, which allows you to pull two streams out of the same session of AC. So Binding, currently 4th place in qualifying. Teammates with Andrew. Definitely the team which is winning this championship. It looks like Binding's currently chasing. Who is that? That's going to be Neo. So let's try out the other camera, which is the rear camera. Wait for the current camera to finish, which should take another minute or so. There we go. So we just switch to Binding now, because Binding is the one with the Mercedes behind. But he's going into the pits, of course. Perfect timing. But there we go, qualifying is concluded. Jack Noller takes the podium with 1:48.932, followed by Andrew with a can't say the words, 1:49.774. Sketty, 3rd place today with a 1:49.870. Not too far behind is Ash in P4, 1:49.998, and then Binding in 5th place with the 1:50.243, and that is a 2, 3, 4, 5 Alpha lineup, followed by Neo, who's in the Mercedes. So we've got Marju down in P7, who's also in an Alpha, but hasn't quite managed to wangle the time together. But it is pretty much 150s all the way down to P9 with Daddy and Red in the Mercedes and BMW respectively. Nismo joining us today in the Mercedes. Not a regular AC player, but still managing a 1:52.7. And then we've got Adrian in P13 at the moment with the Volvo, who seems to have struggled a little bit with the track today. Don't think they've run a lot of practice though. So definitely pays to do the practice. I'll go ahead and start a prediction. Adding some drivers in, replacing the ones who aren't here. Binding in, and I'll put in. There you go, guys. You can now predict on the first race. I'll switch back to the Mercedes, just because the way that those cameras I'm using the bottom left of the screen work. They take the vehicle you're in as a reference point and creating the other cameras for the other vehicles. And for some reason, the A-Team van that I've been using for my commentary truck causes the cameras in the other cars to be basically in the floor well. You don't see a lot, and therefore I switched it back to driving the Mercedes, so that the camera's a little bit more in tune with the cars we're looking at. Of course, Red, you're allowed to put 10 players in, so you're welcome. Some people have gone for Jack Noller. What a surprise! So as ever, if there is a large pile-up in the first corner on the first lap, or the first lap in general, I may reserve the right to restart the race, but hopefully that isn't required. We've only ever had to do that once in any of our races, and I'm hoping we don't have to do it again. Got 35 seconds to go. Lights are up, engines are revving. And away we go. Alpha's off to an early start as predicted, with Noller dropping back 2 positions, almost 3-4 positions coming his way as the Alphas pile down the first, straight down to the first corner. Noller's in the middle, he's going 3 wide into T1, which is never a good place to be. But Alpha on the inside, driven by Ash, making a little bit of light contact, but Noller managing to get through largely unscathed. And it's Sketty up to P1 with Andrew in P2. And Noller starting to work his magic in the Mercedes now as he splits the Alphas 2 for 3. Now we've also got Neo in the background, I think that is, in the other Mercedes. Let's see where we get to. When everyone seems to have got through largely intact, with no significant contact that I've seen so far. Way to the races we go. Noller just 0.2 of a second behind Andrew at the moment, and certainly keeping the pressure on, while Sketty seems to be making a little bit of a getaway here with a 0.8 second gap opening up in the front. Further behind we've got Ash, who's about a second behind Noller, in a bit of a pack with Binding, Marju and Red starting to make up some positions here, up to P7 already. But with the opening lap coming to a close, Noller remains in P3 with Andrew in P2 and Sketty in P1. Now, not entirely sure where the best places to overtake on this track are, but we're going to find out, sure, across the course of this race. And we've got 18 more minutes of action coming your way. So here we go. Final corner. Noller 0.2 of a second, still behind Andrew. Andrew's going to be heavy on the brakes in the run down to T1. Noller looking for an angle down the inside, blocked by Andrew, but Noller manages to throw it around the outside relatively safely, and manages to stay side by side with Andrew as they continue. Bit of door rubbing, but that is DTM for you. And Noller's managed to work his way through without too much issue there, and Andrew's down to P3. Andrew's looking for a bit of an angle to come back though, and he's not giving up any time soon. We've got him all over the rear end of that 190E, and it's going to be down to Jack to try and work his magic to open up a bit of a gap here. Sketty in the meantime 1.3, 1.4 seconds ahead. and using this early race advantage to the max extent so he can break away with a bit of a gap. Nola, on the other hand, starting to open up a little bit of a gap between himself and Andrew. That's extended to 0.5 of a second. Meanwhile, Ash down in P4, the whole 1.5 seconds behind these three at the front. Take a little bit of a look at P5, where we've got Binding and Marju going toe-to-toe. In the background, you can see Red in the BMW, looking in for a way into the action here. Go on board with Red. Red driving on the soft compound, I believe, as is his preferred compound for this car. They come around the final corner there. Red is 0.7 of a second behind, whilst Marju remains close to the action with a 0.4 of a second gap to Binding. Further back, we've got Neo and Adrian going toe-to-toe into T1. Adrian in the Volvo, of course, the only one still present in the league, I believe. But up in P6, Marju 0.4 of a second behind Binding, his fellow Alpha driver. Red doing his very best here to hang on to these two, but struggling a little bit, it seems. Further up the grid, though, we can see that Nola is starting to close in on Sketty, so we're going to go back to these guys and just see how this looks. Nola's all over Sketty at the moment. And I think Nola broke his hand recently, so this is his first race getting back into sim racing, to see whether he's got the strength in the hand to race with conviction. And I think that is being demonstrated quite clearly today, that he is back into good form. Almost 14 minutes remaining on the race, and Nola popping out the final corner there. Hot pursuit of Sketty down the main straight here. I don't think he's going to be far enough into position to go for it, but thinks about it. Sketty doesn't move into a defensive position, and Nola does throw the dive down the inside there. But the door was left open, so I think it was fine for Nola to have a go there. Doesn't quite make it stick this time, though. Sketty's come back strong and holds that gap at 0.4 of a second, leaving Nola to work a little bit harder here. Coming through sector 2 now, you can see from Nola's point of view, he's driving the car right on the limit and carrying quite a bit of speed here, where the Alpha in the front seems to be struggling a little bit. You can see every little corner there, Nola's just chipping away at the Alpha's advantage here and sliding the rear end of that Mercedes. Hopefully Nola doesn't end up overheating the tyres. That's a death sentence for the Mercedes, this rear-wheel drive. But Sketty's got his work cut out here. He's got a lot of pressure coming in from Nola. We're going to have to see what Mr. Nola can deliver as he heads up to close out another lap here at Zandvoort. Guess he's getting a bit caught up on the curbs there, getting the car a little bit unsettled. Nola looking left, looking right, trying to find his way round. At the moment, having no luck. And in the background, you can see Andrew starting to close in a little bit as the battling in the front here allows Andrew to reel these two in. But here's the start finish straight, and this is when Nola has an opportunity again to throw it down the inside. I don't think Sketty's gone defensive. He hasn't. So if Nola's later on the brakes, and it looks like he is, it's going to make it difficult for Sketty to come back and put some pressure back on the Mercedes here. But the Mercedes this time makes the move stick, and it's Jack Nola almost into P1. And now sealing the deal almost, but still Sketty alongside. That's actually very close racing here between these two. And Jack Noller doing a great job of keeping this very clean, as we normally see from Mr. Noller. Andrew, on the other hand, starting to get close now. 0.5 of a second for Andrew, and that's going to be dangerous for Jack Noller if he can't clear Sketty soon. He's going to end up in a three-way battle, and that's going to make things very challenging indeed. This time though, Jack through, but trades positions. He's back down to P2, momentarily getting a glimpse of that first position there. But here's Andrew now, right in the mix as predicted, and that's going to make things a little bit more challenging for Noller. He's got to keep an eye on the rear view mirror now, and what's going on in front. So round the right-hander, Andrew's right on the tail of Jack Noller this time, and Jack is further back now than he has been in the last couple of laps, so he's got a little bit more work to do here. Starting the start-finish straight, 0.3 of a second behind this time. We'll see this time probably Sketty's not going to have too much trouble holding Jack at bay, given done well to defend against Jack's advances when Jack was a lot closer than he is presently. The onboard point of view here, you can see just how close Jack is to the rear end of Sketty's Alpha, and he's not giving Sketty a moment of relaxation here. Sketty's going to have to work tooth and nail the entirety of the next 10 minutes to hold on to this P1 position. You can see Jack coming in nice and hot there with a lot of speed through the twisty sections. I think it's just a matter of time before Jack finds his opportunity. He's already seen a couple of cracks in Sketty's defensive armour, and he's been well to exploit them already. I think it's just going to be wearing Sketty down now and trying to force that mistake, which is going to make it very easy for Mr. Noller to sneak on through. Again, Noller lining up for a bit of an overtake opportunity as they set up for the final corner. Mercedes seems to carry a bit more momentum through the corners. This time it's a 0.2 second gap as they head down to the first corner. Let's see if Noller can make it stick this time. Once again, throws it down the inside, this time a little bit late on the brakes I think. He just sneaks his way in front and tries to shut the door, but it's a switcheroo for Sketty as he comes back quite quickly there. And I think Noller just overcooked the entry a little bit there. There's late on the brakes and there's too late on the brakes, and I think that's a little bit of a case of the latter. Onboard view from Andrew here as he watches the battle unfold in front. I think he's just taking his time at the moment to wait for these two to make a mistake. But Jack is not giving up the pressure anytime soon. Nice to see a Mercedes battling at the front. We only saw that one round in the past, which was Mugello, when Viles was giving the Mercedes a good run for its money. There's 7.5 minutes of race time remaining, and Jack is ready and waiting for a single mistake from the Alpha here. Here they come once again. Jack on the attack. Let's see if he gets his braking better this time. Decides not to go around the inside this time, but there's a mistake from Sketty. He's locked the brakes up, and Mercedes is now through. Jack into P1. This time a bit more convincingly, and I think Sketty's now realised that that mistake has cost him the position properly now. And now it's just a question of Jack extending the lead here while Andrew has to work to catch up with Sketty. But as predicted, it was just a question of keeping the pressure on from Jack's point of view, and Sketty was going to crack at some point. Lasted a very good long time though. Now with 6 minutes remaining, that's about 3 laps of race time. Jack just needs to extend the lead here. Further down the field, everything seems to be relatively spread out at the moment, with the latter phase of the race being where this tends to happen. But looks like Zaddy, in our other Mercedes, is holding pace here with Marju. Has got a bit of a gap to close here, 0.8 of a second. Red, on the other hand, has worked their way up to P5 and follows now behind Ash. Zaddy actually getting quite close now behind Marju. On board with Zaddy here in his pink and white livery, you can see that he's able to keep pace with Marju quite nicely here, and the Mercedes seems to be proving itself quite well here at Zandvoort. It's one of those tracks which just seems to favour the Mercedes. Whereas the Alpha is probably a little bit heavier, all-wheel drive system not necessarily helping them as much here in these fast corners as it does on some of the other tracks. But Zaddy just needs to hold on here and see if he can nibble away at the gap to Marju. Meanwhile, up the front, we've got Jack Nolan now 1 second ahead. Oh, looks like Neo has lost the position there to Binding. Back with Marju though. Zaddy is still piling on the pressure, and just a little bit of a glimpse of red there in his green BMW. At the moment, it's Zaddy who is keeping Marju on their toes. Down into T1, Zaddy 0.4 of a second, so does seem to be getting closer. Cockpit cam here from the BMW's point of view, sorry, the Mercedes point of view. Zaddy's doing a great job here. Marju's typically a very quick driver. Struggling a little bit here today with the flow of the track, hasn't quite managed to get that to click with the Alpha. But Zaddy on the other hand is seemingly working quite nicely with the Mercedes. I think given a bit more time, there might be an opportunity here for Zaddy to claim P6. But I think Marju's going to have to make a mistake in the next 2 minutes for that to happen potentially. Oh, big mistake from Margie there, well off the track. And it's probably left the door open a little bit for Zaddy. Let's see if we get another one of those kind of mistakes from Margie. That will definitely make things very possible here for Zaddy. This time Zaddy's only 0.4 of a second, 0.3. As they come down to the first corner, will Zaddy be able to throw us down the inside? Going for it, but thinks twice. And he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. As Margie, coming back from that mistake on the previous lap, seems to be struggling a little bit with the car. See what Zaddy's got in store for us today. Acceleration there for the Alpha seems to be pretty impressive, but Zaddy's coming back, over-rotating. Oh, and he spun it. It's bad news for Zaddy at this point in the race. Let's see if he can get back on track before Binding catches him up. But with only 10 seconds left on the clock, I think we're going to have to go back to the front of the pack where we see Nola, Sketty and Andrew heading to a 1-2-3 finish. Meanwhile though, Neo and Binding going toe to toe, and Neo looking like he's trying to throw it down the inside here. Is he going to get this to stick? Not quite. But Nola's finished first, Sketty takes P2, Andrew grabs P3, that's going to leave the door open for Ash to take P4. But let's stay with Neo and Binding and see which of these two is going to grab P8. Zaddy takes P7. And looks like it's going to be Binding for P8 with Neo in a close P9. Nismo on track for a P10 finish here, which is just in the points. Nismo finishes in P10 with Hemi taking P11. Erdi, too far behind, will be on track for a P12, and Adrian will be set for a P13. Struggling a little bit with the Volvo. Here he comes. P13 for Adrian. There we have it, race number 1 completed. We'll now go into race number 2, which is based on the finishing positions that you see on your screen right now. Let's see whether Nola can do it again and take home a second P1 finish. We'll go ahead and finish that prediction because everyone who voted for Jack Nola were in pretty safe hands there. Well done, Neo. You almost had him there. Hey Neo, thanks for the sub. Much appreciated. So short intermission now before we get into race number 2. It's going to be really interesting to see whether we've got a second opportunity here for Jack Noller to take the win in race number 2. Interestingly though, Red has moved up to P5 for this race, so we'll see whether Red is going to be able to grab a podium out of this as well. Yeah, Andrew, good racing there. You had a bit of competition. And Sketty was on fire as well, so good to see you guys having a good battle there at the front. Don't doubt yourself, Red. You're the fastest BMW and French person here. Yeah, it looks like you were going to give Binding a good run for his money there, Neo, so hopefully you two can have a good battle in the next one as well. Where's your teammate, Red? Why have you been abandoned? Letting the side down. He didn't even message you. Well, he's going to cost the team some points in, or some cash in the championship standings. It's okay. It's no big deal, Red. We'll just remove his moderator status for a while. Teach him a lesson. Hey guys, good luck everyone. Have fun out there. Take it easy. Lights are up, engines are revving, and away they go. Once again, Noller getting left behind by the Alphas on the grass there, as I think that was Andrew going off track to get a past. This time Ashavi up alongside as well, Marju close in there as well, and but Jack Noller again, P3 into the first corner here. So pretty much a rerun blow by blow of the last race. Let's go a little bit further back and just keep an eye on the rest of the cars in the track here. Got Ash, Marju, Red's right in the mix here as well. On board from Red's point of view, you can see the traffic ahead. This time it's Red in P6. And in a pretty good position here to put some pressure on some of the cars ahead. Let's go ahead and just pop on the heli cam. It's nice to have that view at this particular part of the race. How it should be. Nice train of cars in the first lap, but without the contact. At the front though, we've got Sketty, followed closely by Andrew, and Noller in P3, but Noller is alongside Andrew at the moment, and giving him a bit of a hard time already. Bit of contact between Andrew and Noller there, I think, as they go side by side. So head down to what looks to be the penultimate corner. Looks to be exactly a carbon copy of the last race, with Noller in P3 ready to start putting the pressure on Andrew as they round the final corner. And will we see Andrew cut deep on the right hand side to go defensive this time? Yes, he does. And Noller once again goes around the outside. Andrew's ready for it this time though. He cuts back. And Nola's ready on the inside to sneak through, so Andrew's been done already, and he's off track as well, which allows Ash to get a little bit closer. Ash now on the inside, taking that position, or the opportunity to take the position, I should say, as Marju piles in as well. And I think Andrew's got himself into a bit of a pickle here. Andrew dropping down to 4th place, Marju right behind him as well. Red in E6 at the moment. Put a prediction up there to see whether Neo can do top 5 in this race. See who's bold enough to take those odds. Andrew in P4, going side by side. He's stuck in the middle of Marju and Ash at the moment. But Marju's getting alongside now, so definitely putting some heat on Andrew, who's going to have to work for this one. At the front though, we can see Nola starting to get close to Sketty, and battle is unfolding at the front as it did in the last race. So out the front we've got Sketty followed by Nola, and Nola's 0.2 seconds behind once again, looking for an opportunity down the inside. Sketty doesn't react again, and this time we don't see the same battle unfold. Sketty folds under the pressure early, and Nola's through with a nice early lead there, leaving Sketty down in P2 and Ash 1.6 seconds behind in P3, with Ash having his own battle on his hands, with Andrew cutting back from P4, looking for an opportunity to get back into the podium. Further down we've got Red being closely followed by Binding, and Neo's in on the mix as well, as we see two Mercedes hunting down the BMW and the Alpha here. Andrew 0.1 seconds behind Ash. Let's see whether there's an overtake coming between these two. Andrew's bumped Ash, and Ash is not reacted at all. His car seems to be made of, I think, a lot sterner stuff than Andrew, and Andrew's dropped down to P9. That's not a position he's normally familiar with. Going back to Red though, currently in P5. He's got Binding breathing down his neck at the moment. It's actually Neo who's just about keeping that Mercedes on the track there, but 0.2 of a second behind Binding, and looks to be set to go toe-to-toe with Binding again. This time Neo's out for blood though, and I think he's going to be able to do this with the conviction he seems to be carrying around on the track right now. Let's see whether he can wangle his way up to P6. Andrew 0.3 of a second behind Zaddy now, so looks to be claiming his first victim on the comeback run, and Zaddy's gonna have his work cut out for him here. Doing a good job so far, but Andrew's going to be out for some positions. I think Zaddy was trying to leave some room there and ended up leaving a bit too much room. Andrew's through to P8. Go back to Binding, who's now got Neo only 0.3 of a second behind, but also closing in on Red. So the three-way battle for P5 is now starting to take shape. Binding's right on the rear bumper of red at the moment. As they head down the start-finish straight here, it's going to be a question of whether Binding's going to chuck it down the inside for T1. Looks to be setting that move up. Red going to do. Red stays strong, doesn't go defensive, and Binding has to cut back and wait a little bit longer for the opportunity. Here from the quarter panel view for Binding, you can see Red working the BMW around the corners. And Neo using the opportunity here for these two battling to close in as well. Andrew in the background as well, starting to catch up a little bit too. Red side by side with Binding now. These two are absolutely going to give us a bit of a show now, I think. And they're still not quite past. So Red is still on the inside here. Neo's in the background and looking for an opportunity. The Binding's just managed to angle through there. A little bit of a mistake from Red. Andrew's now side by side with Neo, I think. Or near enough. Hey Adrian, good to see you in chat there. Binding P5 goes very defensive there and immediately cuts very hard to the right hand side. That actually leaves the door well open for Red to go blasting on through. And Neo in the background there. Got Andrew breathing down his neck, but it's Red up to P5 as he suggested. Neo's on track though for potentially getting into the top 5. Yeah, Battle in Race 1 was really good at the front. At the moment we've got a nice little train here with Red leading these cars through the midfield with BMW, 2 Alphas and a Mercedes. Watching 2 separate battles with 2 Alphas unfolding exactly at the same time, which is always nice to see. All 4 cars now absolutely throwing themselves through the corners. Ooh, shunt from Neo onto Binding. And Binding's been absolutely punted off there. Neo's waited. That gives an opportunity for Zaddy to come flying through though. Zaddy's grabbing a position. Will he make that 2? So Zaddy into the mix now. Andrew's probably done quite well out of that. He's up to P6 now, and it's Red who's in front of him. Daddy and Neo battling though. Nice to see 2 Mercedes out there in toe to toe. Ooh, slide for Binding. Thankfully everyone avoids contact. But let's take a look at Red in P5. He's got Andrew breathing heavily down his neck, and there's 8 minutes of race time remaining, so that's 4 or so laps to go. Will Red be able to hold out against Andrew's pressure? He's right on his tail, leaving any breathing space at all there, and Red sliding it. Don't think that was contact, just overcooked it a little bit. Hopefully he hasn't done his tyres in as a result of that, but Andrew's back up to P5. Ash and Marju. Actually, let's go back to Binding, who has just lost the position to Neo and has just got it back. So they are trading positions at the moment. There's Red in the front. Yeah, he's got 7 more minutes to try and get back up to P5. Might be a bit of a tall order at this point. Binding's rear tyres though might be heated up to an uncomfortable level though, because he's sliding them, and either means they're already too hot or they're well on their way to becoming too hot. And Zaddy in the background hooks the tyres on the curb and then gets thrown off into the barrier there. Yeah, it's getting close though, 0.5 still. Keeping the pressure on. Gotta love that Mercedes interior. RG starting to get close to Ash as well. But Red is holding steady in P6 at the moment. And it looks like he's got Binding and Neo coming up close behind now. Binding getting nice and close behind Red, keeping the pressure on. Red coming down to T1, Binding's right there, as is Neo. I love watching these battles unfold when you've got 3 different car manufacturers involved. RG looks like they're getting nice and close as well. Binding's off track. That's allowed Neo to get alongside. Take a look at Marju and Ash though, because it's time to see whether these guys are going to have a changing of positions. And there it is. Ash takes the inside line, gets through again. Marju momentarily in front, but then having to give it back so quickly. Here we go. 0.3 of a second separating these two. 3.5 minutes to go. He's only 0.1 of a second behind at the moment. They head down to T1, that's going to mean that he can, in theory, chuck it round, but I think he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Red is battling again with Binding and Neo. Here's the battle for P6. And we've got the three-way battle continuing. This time Neo is at the back, Binding's in the middle, and Red's at the front. Trying to find a way through, but Red is proving quite difficult to get around. Looks like Marjorie and Ash are going toe-to-toe once again, but we've got some really good battles happening right here. I'm going to stick with these guys for a little bit longer. Binding's on the inside. A little bit of a scrape and a bump there, but still side by side. Let's go back to Ash. One minute left on the clock. Looks like Nola's 2.6 seconds clear of Sketty. Ash in P3 at the moment, but Margie's trying his level best to catch up. While Red down in P7 now, Binding's got through. As Neo is looking for a little bit of action as well. An opportunity to take this final opportunity to overtake. But there's not much time for that to happen. On board view here with Neo. Take a quick look here. So we've got Nola's almost at the finish line. So will it be will this be the final lap or the next lap be the final lap? Margie's got 0.4 of a second gap to Ash at the moment. That's his gap to the podium. On the last lap, I think Nola's moments from crossing the line. Ooh, Ash overcooking it. Will that mean that Margie's got a good run here? Potentially not. Here comes Nola. Nola takes a checkered flag. Margie's now moments away from potentially overtaking Ash, but I don't think he's got enough time. It'll be a close finish here. Andrew got back to P5. It looks like Red is going to be taking P6. Neo so close to his goal, but not quite close enough. And there we have it. Neo finishes P7. Zaddy takes P8. And Hemi on track for a P9 there. So Hemi finishes P9 and Binding, who unfortunately has thrown all away in the last lap. Going to take P10 by the looks of it. I'm guessing murdered by Neo based on the comment Neo's just made in chat there. Binding finishes in P10. I think he's going to be taking a while. Yep, he's immediately disconnected. Never a good sign with Binding. So there we have it. Let's go ahead and see if anybody wants an interview. Of course, it's as typical, will be reserved for the podium holders. Andrew, we'll take Andrew first. Mr. Andrew.
Hello.
Congratulations on your podium in the first race. How was that first race for you? Looks like a bit of a challenge for you.
It was good fun watching the two up front battle, but I just didn't have the pace to. I could keep up when they were fighting, but when they were in free air, I couldn't keep up, and I certainly wasn't fast enough to overtake either of them.
Yeah, was the Alpha kind of just not quite as fast around this track as the other cars? I mean, most of the Alphas were at the top end of the grid, but it looked like the 190E at Nola's hands was quite a substantial challenge. Sketty as well as Alpha was giving you a bit of a hard time.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be in the Alpha than the Merc round here for sure. It's just Jack is Jack, you know. So.
Very nice. Well, race 2, how did that go? Because that was a bit more of a struggle for you.
Oh yeah, I tried to challenge Jack into T1 on the brakes, failed, but drove myself off the track, fell behind Ash, and then drove into the side of Ash and spammed myself into the wall.
Yeah, I saw that. It seemed like his car was made of lead, and you just went flying off.
It was the movable object versus the immovable object, and I was the movable one.
Very nice, very nice. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
just threw it up his inside and understeered into him on throttle, I think. I'm looking at it now.
yeah, I don't think it's made a dent in your championship standings, but yeah, not quite the slam dunk that we normally see you deliver in the league. How are you feeling about next weekend's big finale at the Nordschleife?
Oh, that'll be fun. Love an Nordschleife race.
Yeah,
And I have a bit less ballast there as well, so.
Yes, well, you might do actually. Probably not much less, but a little bit less. We'll have to try
Okay,
and make
it'll
sure
be
we get the
about
full
right.
grid in for that one.
Yeah, ping as many as you can.
Well, indeed. But anyway, Andrew, well done today, as always. Race number 1 particularly going well for you and adding a few more points into your substantial lead already. I shall leave you back to the rest of the group then, and I'll take the next attendee.
Is that the championship wrapped up, actually? It might be.
Well, you're like 100 points ahead, so.
And yeah, it's over. Nice.
I think you might have done that a while ago.
Yeah. This was the first race I didn't get on the podium in this championship. Absolute catastrophe.
Yeah, you're just letting your standards slip, Andrew. It's really disappointing to see. You're gonna have to get back and train now.
It's just when I see Ash, I just want to fucking drive into him. You know, I'm sure you know the feeling.
Well, yes, yeah. You need to learn to come out on top of that, though.
Yeah, I hit him too centrally. I needed to hit his back quarter, and then I would have got him. I'm gonna work on that for next week.
Did you say centrally or sensually?
I essentially hit him in the central portion of his automobile.
Well, there we go. There we go. Anyway, Andrew, I'm gonna do the interviews one at a time, so I better let you bounce so I can bring in the next attendee. I'll bring in
Bindings in there.
Bindings probably absolutely livid, but
do you want to know what happened?
I'll just discuss afterwards. But
okay.
Yeah.
See you later, then, mate.
See you. Cheers, mate. We'll take Jack Noller next. Jack, welcome back. Good to see you back here at Syndicate.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back, and it's been a while since I've been sim racing, just through a lot of things, including getting married to my wonderful wife who's been playing Valorant in the background of this room. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, but yeah, it's good to be back sim racing again. But yeah, good to be back. I think this is the first race I've done in a while, but yeah, it was definitely good fun, especially with the all-wheel drive and trying not to get swamped at the start.
Yeah, it's quite funny actually when those alphas get off on the mark. They just kind of like feel like you're going in reverse, don't you, for the first few seconds. But do I understand correctly that you'd broken your hand recently, and this was your first race to see whether it's back at full strength?
Yes, at work. Funny enough, I fell out of a simulator, not one like this, but a motion rig that's raised up on the platform. So I missed the steps coming out of it just 3 days before my wedding.
Oh,
so that
no.
was fun. That was about 7 weeks ago now. So tore some ligaments, fractured the scaphoid, and all that fun jazz. But apart from that, yeah, it was a good race to get back into it. The Merc was less bumpy than the BMW, so nice on that. It seems to hold up quite well. Just trying to drift at the end probably didn't do it too well, but the race has held up. Whether it's adrenaline or not, let's see.
Very good. Well, it's nice to see Mercedes winning a few races. They haven't got much love this championship, and they've actually been like the underdog. We saw at Mugello actually Viles, one of our other Mercedes drivers, came up with a sterling win out of nowhere. But otherwise, it's nice to see Mercedes back on the podium. But how ironic that you broke your hand in a motion, in a sim rather than in the real cars that you drive. You would have thought the sim would have given us the safe space.
Yeah, it wasn't even in the sim. I was getting out of it and missed the stairs, so it's about a 5-foot drop. It was.
Oh,
But
okay, that's quite a fall.
yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it was a good couple of races. Race 1, I bogged slightly at the start. I just dropped the clutch too quickly, so I nearly lost more places. As probably those listening will probably from Andrew and Siggy would have loved me to drop down further, but managed to just hold on to third. Then work my way back around the outside of Andrew, and then Siggy put up a good fight in the first one. Didn't want to do anything too silly like biff him off or anything, but it was lots of backwards and forwards, and then second race, unfortunately, I think both of them tried to. I think Sergey missed his braking point, and Andrew tried to outbrake me at the start of that one, and they both had exactly the same off at turn 1. So a little bit simpler that one, but he was kept honest second race because he had some really good pace race 2. So props to him for that, and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, congratulations again, Jack, on the wins today, but also getting married, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of you in the future if you spare the time.
Yeah, definitely. Nords might be difficult next week because of other half's birthday weekend. So, but I'll try and be around for some more racing.
Sounds good, Jack. Well, yeah, great to see you again today, and glad to hear your hand is in better shape than it was a few weeks ago. And I shall let you go and bring Ash in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank
Catch
you.
you later. Hello, Ash. Sorry to keep you waiting there.
Oh, no worries.
How was your race? They looked like you had a pretty good run of it in race number 2.
Race number 2, yes. Race 1 was basically no man's land, but race 2, well, after being essentially touched by Andrew, it went out well. Like, me and Maju had some good battles. I was defending well, gave him a switchback and a half. Maju was keeping me on my toes, so it was a fun race. First race, not as much because, yeah, 5 seconds forward of the driver behind, 5 seconds back from the next one.
Yeah, those races are always a little bit tough, aren't they? Just kind of racing against yourself at that point. Yeah, no, race number 2 looked like you had a good battle there. It looked like Margie was just about starting to close in on you in the last couple of laps, but you managed to hold him at bay.
The reason on the last couple of laps that he got close was because of a bit of a spin out of turn 1 or 2, I think. One of those. I missed my braking point, but other than that, yeah, he was keeping up with me the whole time. Actually glad to see it. Race 1, he didn't seem anywhere like close, but yeah, got better.
I think he was just dialing in his kind of familiarity with the track. But we look forward now to the big finale next weekend, and that's going to be the hour-long race at Nordschleife. So looking forward to that one.
Yes, very much so. I need to destroy Andrew on that one.
We need to try and encourage a nice full grid because there's nothing better than seeing a whole pile of cars going around the Nordschleife, especially if they're 90 DTM cars. That's pure motorsport porn right there.
Oh, more sensual touching, I guess.
Well, you know, maybe Andrew can get better at it. He seems to be quite out of practice.
Seems to be so. Anyways, thank you for the races.
Thank you for your attendance, and looking forward to seeing you at the big finale next weekend.
I'll try my best to be there. Need to buy an Ethernet cable to be sure that I won't lag around.
Yeah, well, yeah, sounds good. Always know where you are with the cable.
Yes.
Sounds good, Ash. Well, yeah, congratulations again. Catch you next time, hopefully next weekend, and good luck with the rest of the championship. Not much left of it to go.
Well, thank you.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Okay, guys, thank you all for being part of the stream today. Good to see you all in chat, and I look forward to seeing you all next weekend for the big finale. Well, hopefully we get a nice, good turnout, and we put this championship to bed with a good finish. But yeah, thank you very much. Catch you later and have a good evening. Championship to bed with a good finish. But yeah, thank you very much. Catch you later and have a good evening.